Welcome. This is Madison Christine, and the topic today that we're going to be talking about is relationship and trauma. And I'm going to add to that anger projections, or all projections. I am, I like to call myself an emotional guide in the wild and work deeply with trauma, depression, anxiety, grief, and loss. You name it, it's all connected, and it's all the hard, darker parts of our humanity. A lot of the different places I've faced personally and been committed to, like the Olympics itself. So I like to help people get out of a circling pattern and to speak to people who, a lot of that are empaths and sensitives and know so much, have deep emotional intelligence. Yet we're like, not they, all of us are like, okay, I know all this, but what do I freaking do with this? Because something's not working. And the hardest place, you guys, the hardest place is relationship. Let's just give it honor and respect starting right there. And when you put two people together who come from trauma, there's like this laugh of a hysterical laugh behind, and there's a weeping. Like it can be so painful. And I'm someone who's here to get real about it. And also to really share some tools and some gold that I've received from making a choice to rise up and out of a lot of these different trauma areas in relationship. I do not speak from anything but experience, because to me that is the highest frequency that one can offer. And I do get vulnerable about myself because I know that for me has changed my life the most, when people dared to share their own experiences. That's how we help each other grow and how we give hope. So I would like to give hope on this topic from true experience. Okay, not, this doesn't come from books. There's some great books, but this doesn't come from the books. I really feel extremely compassionate and fierce about this topic. Before I continue on the relationship and trauma topic, I want to add in there anyone in relationship who's experiencing physical abuse, emotional abuse, and with a partner that's not willing to work things out. Please find a therapist, a friend, someone to talk to, and get out. There's no reason to ever take abuse, okay? Now, in addition to that, if you're with a partner where you both have trauma and there can be abusive moments where they're projecting anger and their unprocessed pain, it's extremely important that you have a plan with this partner, okay, that allows you to feel safe enough to know there's going to be that moment on the flip of the trauma that you're going to work it out. So this YouTube is by no means saying take abuse. What it is saying is that there is a true thing that happens when we come from trauma. It is a human thing to get reactive at moments. It's a human thing to project. I'm not saying it makes it okay. It's how do we handle these things. So I hope that's really clear. And again, when I say speak from experience, I'm speaking from my present partnership, where it started out, he had anger issues. And I'm going to say this to help other people understand what are anger issues really, you guys. Let's look at that first, because anger is up, rage is up on our planet, okay? This is a time when nothing's hidden anymore, and relationships are being challenged off the yin yang. It's the highest of domestic violence, I think, yet. So I'm going to get real with you on this topic. And there's also so much hope. If you're with a partner that really wants to work this out, the opportunity of healing individually and connected to this person is huge. Okay? So first of all, suss out, what situation are you in? Are you in a situation with a partner that is truly committing to work their stuff out with you? And what I mean is, if either one or the other or both are projecting, on the flip side of those trauma moments, are you guys talking about this and setting boundaries to make it more and more safe each time? That's how you can track who's safe to work with and who isn't. And you also have a choice to just walk the F away. You know, I'm just someone who has been passionate about having and creating healthy relationship coming from trauma and being someone who helps people in that space that can feel like it'll never happen. But we all deserve to experience a healthy relationship with ourselves and with another. There's so much joy in that. So this topic covers, there's so much, so I'm going to try to keep it simple. So trauma, what is that? Fight or flight or freeze. And there's probably more now. I think there's fawn now. When you're in a traumatized state, what are the symptoms? The person is reactive, right? Like if you say something, the other person might be triggered. Maybe you ask them a question and they just all of a sudden fly off the handle. And you feel like you're blindsided. That's a traumatic reaction, excuse me. That's when you know, whoa, something's up here and this had nothing to do with what I just said. So first of all, remove blame from yourself. In a relationship, you have a right to ask whatever you want. Okay? Even if it's triggering, we get to learn compassionate and safe and secure ways of handling these things. So reactivity, watch for that. If there's reactivity and then it comes through anger, step back. We have two important things, awareness and then practice. Practice is going to be what you're going to practice to help yourself out of that space and to find yourself safety and security. We're looking for safety and security. Okay? So let's go back to trauma and the relationship. Usually, if we look at energy patterns, we attract a partner that has come from similar patterning. And in that, there's an opportunity to also heal your trauma on a higher level. You just have to be willing to look at yourself and have a partner that's willing to look at themselves. That's when you have more of a safety security, right? If you have a partner that's not giving a shit and not doing anything about it, that's a sign to get out. And also when we come from trauma, we also have a very low self-worth. And so there's a lot of work to be done to pay attention to our own selves. So it's an opportunity, you guys. Truly, all of that relational stuff is an opportunity to come closer to ourselves. For me, for instance, in the beginning of my relationship with my partner, when his anger and reactivity came up, it would trigger such a deep pain and wound in me from not feeling heard. And it would trigger the betrayal in my history when I did speak up. So that was giving me an opportunity to look at, well, I'm wanting my partner to hear me. That does not happen when they're traumatized, you guys, and their reactivity. You got to let go of any expectation that you're going to get what you want. And if we look in the soul level, that's set up for us to come closer to ourselves. So for me, I had to go, wait a minute. I'm wanting so bad for this person to hear me. What does that mean? What am I really needing? To hear myself. To come closer to myself. To journal. To cry. To call a sister. Call a friend. And really give myself what I was projecting and wanting from the partner. And that person had to also do the same for himself. That is badass when you both can commit to that. Because really, you're giving each other an incredible opportunity to heal and grow on an exponential level. But it ain't pretty when it's going on, okay? So let's just get real about it. It's so hard, you guys. It is so hard and it is so rewarding. So it got awareness, become aware of what the reactivity is, become aware of your body response. Are you shaking when the partner has their anger reaction and projection? Pay attention to that. And what do you do when you're shaking? What is that telling you? Not feeling safe, right? Not feeling secure. Let's just remember, that person's ego is triggered. They're not going to change right away. This is about getting real with this. They're not going to change right away. So what are you going to do to get yourself safe? And again, this isn't saying, oh yes, oh, it's okay for abuse. This is just two humans having a traumatic response. Okay? What are you gonna do if you're shaking? You're gonna get safe. Do you have keys to your car? Can you go drive to the park? Can you go for a walk? Detach as much as you can, right? Checking with yourself. It's very common that we blame ourselves for the question we asked that triggered the reaction. There's no excuse for those reactions, okay? If someone's getting anger projectiling on you, okay? Get out of the situation. Take care of yourself. It's an opportunity to build safety, because if it's triggering you, that means there's something in your history, most likely. Maybe your father had rage issues. Maybe your mother did. Maybe nothing was addressed around anger. But it's showing you something. There's a charge in there, means there's something in you that is calling on healing. Okay? We got to try to stay away from the blame. Stay away from the blame. And usually in the projection, they're blaming and it's just a mess. The higher road is to stay away from blame. And that means starting with yourself. You did nothing wrong. Step back and get yourself safe. Okay? And do your best to realize that detaching is the perfect thing to do to stop judging yourself and to get safe and secure. Take care of that inner child in you. What's going on in your body is there's a call on commitment to self. That vibration is asking for your commitment. So I'm not talking about leaping into, I detached and everything's perfect. It doesn't happen like that. I mean, miracles happen. With trauma, it's a process. So if you can even commit 2 minutes to detaching, that is a huge start. If you're someone who used to stay in the fight, maybe you're a fighter, I used to be. I want you to hear me and I'm gonna have, it's like you've all of a sudden your lovership went into the courtroom. And I just promise you, there's no healing in that. It's just like walk away. I could have saved myself 4 years if I knew that, but that's just part of becoming stronger and learning. It's just, we're gonna fall down, just get back up, right? So, become aware and practice stepping away and not taking it personally. That's the detachment, even if it's for 1 or 2 minutes at first. That means you're starting to give yourself what you want in the other. And that vibration's starting to shift. Go to your room if you have a room. I always suggest with partnerships to always have your own room to get away to. Your own space is sacred. You're learning to value yourself, your worth, to build that self-worth. And if you're with a partner that really, really wants to heal their trauma and be with you, they're going to rise with you. Not in their ego space, they're not. So it's a huge, huge thing to face, whatever abandonment is in your history, right? So, detach. Become aware and practice that detachment. Practice that safety with yourself. Practice understanding what's going on in your body. Practice compassion on yourself. And inch by inch, this stuff shifts. Okay? So I'm gonna stop there. There's so much more, but I hope that is extremely helpful to you. Take such good care. Thank you so much. Again, I'm Madison Christine, and I have an email you can contact if you want one-on-one sessions or further topics that you want to expand on. Thank you so much. Take care.